Welcome to Bluegrass 101 on a Wednesday night here. We are doing the song White Dove by the Stanley Brothers. Now, the Stanley Brothers were a band pre-bluegrass, so like in the 1940s, they were singing in brother harmony groups, and they were huge fans of Charlie and Bill Monroe, the Monroe brothers. And when Bill Monroe started to sing bluegrass, it blew their mind. So they were the first band to imitate Bill Monroe. And basically, they're hugely influential in regards to not only their incredible harmonies, but the fact that they were the second bluegrass band that really existed. And they had some wonderful players through the years. Carter Stanley was this wonderful songwriter and had just this one of the purest voices in bluegrass music. And this song, Carter Stanley wrote. They were driving, and it was driving Ralph Stanley crazy. Ralph was trying to drive, and Carter was in the back seat with a light, writing this song out, and it was super distracting. And then Ralph was even more mad because in the song, Carter killed off their parents. So Ralph was not initially a huge fan of this song, and then it started to do really well on the charts and sell a whole bunch of albums and get played on radio, and he fell promptly in love with it. And it is an absolutely beautiful song. We're going to talk about the unique harmonies that happen in it, but first we are going to play it. Hey Clayton, glad you could join us. We're going to do the song in the key of E. E is an elephant, and it is a 3/4 time, a bluegrass waltz. So it is boom, chick, chick. So I want to hear that emphasis on the chick, chick. Boom, chick, chick, boom, chick, chick. There, let's, okay. So 1, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4. In the deep rolling hills of old Virginia, there's a place I love so well, where I spend many days of my childhood, in the cabin where we love to dwell. White dove will mourn in the soul, willows will hang their heads. I live my life in the soul, since mother and daddy are dead. We were all so happy there together in our peaceful little mountain home. But the Savior needs angels in heaven. Now they sing around the great white throne. White dove will mourn in song, willows will hang their heads. I live my life in soul, since mother and daddy are dead. As the years roll by, I often wonder, will we all be together someday? And each night I wander through the graveyard, darkness finds me where I kneel to pray. White dove will mourn in sorrow, willows will hang daddy are dead. It is a plumb pitiful song, as my bass player Jim, who typically joins me on this, likes to say. It is an extremely sorrowful song. And the reason that it does is because of this flatted third. Now, in the verses, he only does one flatted third. So when he's singing it, in the deep rolling hills, he goes down to that, down to the fifth. In the deep rolling hills, actually I think it is the third. In the deep rolling hills of old Virginia, there's a place I love so well. Those are all pure notes. And spent many days of my childhood in the cabin where we loved. That is a flatted third. He's not going in the cabin where we love to dwell. That would be the note that you'd want to do. Cabin where we love, or cabin where we love to dwell. That would be the proper A. The cabin where we love to dwell. But that doesn't sound lonesome at all. Cabin where we love to dwell. So he's flattening a D7 over an A. So it is this extremely lonesome note. Cabin where we love to dwell. But then it resolves when it goes back to that D. Cabin where we love to dwell. And he does pitch up slightly, but he never gets to the note that you're expecting him to get to. Cabin where we love to dwell, right? He goes, cabin where we love to dwell. Now, in the chorus, he does that on every second line. White dove will mourn in sorrow. Willow, actually does it on every line. Willows will hang their heads. I live my life in sorrow, since mother and daddy are dead. So, flatted thirds on every line of the chorus, but only the last line in the verses. Okay? It's very important because it really gets overplayed if you're constantly doing this flatted third and you get kind of tired of it and it gets monotonous. So, in the deep rolling hills, drop down low. Don't hit that flatted third. In the deep rolling hills of old Virginia, there's a place I love so well, where I spent many days of my childhood, in the cabin where we love to dwell. White dove will mourn in sorrow, the willows will hang their heads. Okay, let's do this. Do the verse and the chorus one more time, and we're going to add the turnarounds that he does in it. So after each chorus, he goes, so it's not a full break. The intro, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do the full song with the intro and then these turnarounds after each chorus, okay? And remember, it is a bluegrass waltz. Boom, chick, chick. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. In the deep rolling hills of old Virginia, there's a place I love so well, where I spent many days of my childhood, in the cabin where we loved to dwell. White dove will mourn in sorrow, the willows will hang their heads. I live my life in sorrow, since mother and daddy are dead. Turn around. We were all so happy there together in our peaceful little mountain home. But the Savior needs angels in heaven. Now they sing around the great white throne. White dove will mourn in sorrow, the willows will hang their heads. I live my life in sorrow, since mother and daddy are dead. Turn around. As the years roll by, I often wonder, will we all be together someday? And each night as I wander through the graveyard, darkness finds me where I kneel to pray. White dove will mourn in sorrow, the willows will hang their heads. I live my life in sorrow, since mother and daddy are dead. So, a really important thing on this song is holding those notes, and especially as a lead singer. And that is really hard to do when it's, especially just with a guitar, when you're being sparse. In the deep, so in the deep rolling hills of old Virginia, there's a place I love so well. So that is so much different from in the deep rolling hills of old Virginia, there's a place I love so well, where I spent many days of my childhood, in the cabin where we loved to dwell. You want to finish those notes. You want to follow through as much as possible. Don't cheat the song. Make sure those notes hold and really, really hold for the long time, especially those end notes, but all throughout. In the deep rolling hills of Virginia. So if it's going slow, sometimes you might need to take a quick breath in a weird spot. Don't do it always at the end of the line. Don't go, in the deep rolling hills of old Virginia, there's a place I love so well. because it gets really, really choppy. So what you can do is, in the deep rolling hills of old Virginia. So in between old and Virginia, I can take a quick little breath there, and it doesn't really break up the song that much because there's a natural d and v. Because I have to automatically put a break in there because of what the words are, I can take a quick breath. In the deep rolling hills of old Virginia, there's a place I love so well, where I spent many days of my childhood in a cabin where we loved to dwell. So the longer you can hold those notes, any note in there, the more it sounds much more musical. Okay, now the harmonies. The Stanley Brothers, because Carter Stanley had such a low voice, they would sometimes do a low lead stack. So the lead low, then the tenor above the third, in bluegrass they call it a tenor, but it's the third note or sometimes the fourth above the lead. And then the baritone, mostly baritone, Ralph Stanley does, and I'll get into it when I do his part. It's not exactly a baritone, but the baritone is the fifth or sometimes the sixth. And typically it's sung below the lead. So it's the fifth or the sixth note above the lead and then done an octave. So you have baritone, lead, and tenor, right? But what they do is get rid of that low baritone, put the lead there, the tenor, and then put the baritone up high. So it misses this low, but it has this really, really lonesome sound, the high lonesome sound. And Ralph Stanley is way up in the stratosphere. But first, let's talk about the tenor. The tenor, you're going to have to stay really, really close and allow that Ralph Stanley to do what he's doing. So if in the deep, we're starting on that note. In the deep, in the deep, in the deep rolling hills of old Virginia. So it's basically in the deep rolling hills of old Virginia. It's just going down. Deep rolling hills of old Virginia. There's a place. So we want to hit that note. Here's a place where I love so well. Let me get that again. In the deep rolling hills of old Virginia, there's a place I love so well, where I spent many days of my childhood in the cabin where we love to dwell. Let's do that again. In the deep rolling hills of old Virginia, there's a place I love so well. If I can do the chords right. Where I spent many days of my childhood in the cabin where we love to dwell. So let's see how close I am to that harmony. What I'm going to do is use a program called Audacity because I'm all by my lonesome here. And we will record the lead. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3. White dove will morning sow, the willows will hang their heads. I live my life in soul, since
since Mother and Daddy are dead.
Okay. Let's see how. I gotta crank this up. Turn the mic so that it picks up. Okay, let's see.
1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3. White dove will mourn in sorrow. The willows will hang their heads. I'll live my life in sorrow, since Mother and Daddy are dead.
Okay, I used the wrong microphone. I was wondering why it was looking weird. Okay, rewind. I'm going to do the lead again. This time I'm actually going to use the proper microphone here and get a better tone. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3.
White dove will mourn in sorrow. The willows will hang their heads. I live my life in sorrow, since Mother and Daddy are dead.
Okay, so remember, the lead is starting on White Dove. So White Dove will mourn. Da, da, da. Just going down that chord. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 3.
White dove will mourn in sorrow. The willows will hang their heads. I live my life in sorrow, since Mother and Daddy are dead.
Okay, so we have the lead. We have the tenor. That leaves, there's only 3 notes in a major chord. So that's Ralph Stanley. Now, he should be going down there. He should be going, what dove will mourn in sorrow. But he's not doing that. He's deciding to stay on this note, okay? And that creates a big space there. But it sounds cool. What dove will mourn in sorrow. The willows will hang their heads. So he's almost doing a bass line, only like 2 octaves up. So he's doing a very unique baritone that is sometimes also a full octave above the lead. What dove will mourn in sorrow? The willows will hang their heads. I live my life in sorrow, since Mother and Daddy are dead. So on the very last note, he does pop down and create this perfect third. So it creates all this weird tension because Carter Stanley is singing a third like that.
What dove will mourn.
So that creates this tension. Then Ralph Stanley isn't going down the proper, so it leaves this space there of the fifth. It's completely gone, but in the end, it completely resolves. So it's this tension, mournful, high, lonesome sound, and then just this beautiful last note. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly record, and I should have done that in the first place. I will record the tenor, and then I'll sing that.
Dove will mourn in sorrow, the willows will hang their heads.
It's actually quite an easy baritone in regards to it's not moving a lot, but it's really hard to sing when people are going down and you're having to stay on the same note. And there's nothing worse in harmony than having to stay on the same note when everybody else moves. It makes it very, very difficult. Okay, so I'm using a program called Audacity. It's free to download. I get no advertising money from it. I just really like the program. So let's do the harmony. I'm doing the tenor now. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 2, 3. What dove will mourn in sorrow, the willows will hang their heads. I live my life in sorrow, since mother and daddy are dead.
Okay, there we go. I like that Tracy Tracy says, I make it look so easy. If you knew how she sang harmony, that's funny. One day I'll sing harmony like Tracy. See if I'm
1, 2, 3, 2, 3. What dove will mourn in sorrow.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add that baritone.
What dove will mourn in sorrow.
Stays on the same note because this note is also in this note, or in this key. So I can park on that note and it still sounds good. Okay, but remember, I'm not tracking exactly what the lead and the tenor are doing. I'm kind of doing my own thing.
1, 2, 3, 3. What dove will mourn in sorrow, the willows will hang their heads. I live my life in sorrow, since mother and daddy are dead.
It's like the coolest harmony line that is so simple yet so complicated. And that's kind of the classic thing about bluegrass is fundamentally it at its core it's very, very simple, but it's extremely complicated in its structure, and it creates all of these really, really cool tones and overtones. Okay, let's do this again.
1, 2, 3, 3. What dove will mourn in sorrow, the willows will hang their heads. I live my life in sorrow, since mother and daddy are dead.
The other thing that it does also is it makes it very, very difficult to know exactly where the lead is and where the harmonies all break apart, because it's not following the standard notation. So you're like, is there four people singing there? And sometimes the overtones create these sevenths and weird thirds and fifths and stuff like that. So you're actually hearing in like a really, really, if everybody's fundamentally together and it's sounding really, really smooth, it can totally sound like four voices completely. I'm going to do it one more time.
One, two, three, three. White dove will mourn in sorrow. The willows will hang their heads. I live my life in sorrow, since mother and daddy are dead.
Now the other thing is one final thing. As the lead, I'm going to keep the tones as pure as I can. White dove. I'm not going, white dove will mourn in sorrow. The willows will hang their heads. So if I'm doing all of these weird little hiccups, these tonal variations, first off, and Tracy does the contour differences. They create these old tones. That's right. Like if you hear a guitar, while there's three notes there, they're not perfect sine waves. They're these slight variations, and they create all of these beautiful overtones, and it creates this really, really full sound. So while it's only three people, it sounds very, very full. But if someone is out just a little bit, what happens with those overtones is they start canceling each other out, or they start to create these waves. So if I'm doing, right, those two notes are in tune to one another. So the overtones add to one another and create more of a wall of sound. But if one is out a little bit, it starts to create these weird waves, whoa, 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 and it doesn't create as full of a sound. So if you're singing along with a group, get your heads together, find your notes, make sure that you're in tune, because the more in tune you are, the better those overtones and the more full the sound. Exactly those old tones that Tracy Lynn is talking about, those contour differences, they just sound incredibly beautiful. And what we're going to do now is allow you to have that opportunity. So what I'm going to do is we're going to stay in the key of E. I will sing the tenor, and that allows all you singers out there to sing the lead. Now, a female singer, white dove, white dove, white dove will mourn in sorrow. You might actually want to be like a full octave above if you have a really, really high voice, and that works perfectly fine. It's going to match up a little bit with when we add the baritone to it, but that's okay. But if you want to do the tenor, and if you want to do the tenor on this, you can sing along with me. But what I'm going to do is allow the singers out there to take the lead. And remember, we start off with the and I'll do a little pitch as to when the song comes in the near. So, but I won't sing. It's your job to sing now. Okay? All right. 1, 2, 3, 2.
are dead.
Okay, so there is the lead, or that's not the lead, that is the tenor, and a guitar behind, but it's fun to play in a jam setting with other instruments and someone else doing more than just the lead. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to add some so Ralph Stanley, he tuned the fourth fret on the G, and he's doing the E up here, up at the 12th fret, and he's just doing a forward. So it's just 3 notes. So, and he basically does that throughout the entire thing. He keeps it pretty simple. And then sometimes. So he's just basically doing that on the banjo. We're going to add another track here, and I will do my best. Ralph Stanley. I won't do Ralph Stanley imitation. Tim Stafford from Blue Highway does a great Ralph Stanley imitation. Oh, death. Yeah. But I won't do that. But I will be singing his on the chorus. So it's the what dove will mourn in sorrow. I want to start on that note. What dove will mourn in sorrow. The willows will hang their heads. Okay, so let's get that going. And that lead is still open for all you lead singers out there. Fill it in. And if you're playing mandolin or fiddle, do these wonderful fill-ins. Great opportunities for fill. 1, 2, 3, 2. Oh, if I had time, I would do a whole bunch of that over again. I'm a little shady on some notes. But hey, that is what Bluegrass 101 is all about, is practice and practice and practice. A lot of people think about practicing their instruments, but it is vitally important. Your instrument is also your voice. So doing this song over and over again and building the same muscle memory that you have in your hands, in your tongue and your throat, um, and being able to know exactly when each of those vowels are and matching up with the people singing. It's off a little bit. Now that's off even more. Oh, this is the worst part of this program, is trying to match up. Still here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to mandolin. One day I will get this so that it works out perfect. There's this weird delay that happens. That's definitely off. Apologies. That's close enough. Okay. So, how many things can I buy? Okay. Sorry for that. I forget I'm being filmed. I was getting caught up in technology. Okay. I'm going to do an intro on the mandolin and I will take the lead. So this is for singers that might not feel so strong and don't necessarily want to sing the lead. This provides you an opportunity to have a voice and pick out the part that first off is in your range. Just because I'm doing this song in E doesn't mean that that suits you. And just because the Stanley Brothers recorded it in E doesn't mean you should play it in E. You might want to do it in A. Whatever A is on a mandolin, who's to know? Somewhere around there. So maybe that's in the deep rolling hills of old Virginia. You might want to sing it in a completely different key, and that's absolutely what you should be doing. You should match your voice. Don't match what the banjo player or the fiddle player wants to play his break in. It is your voice that's most important, especially the lead. Great opportunity. 1, 2, 3. In the deep rolling hills of old Virginia. Let me start that again. I was distracted because I was talking and I should have been thinking about. There we go. Okay, I'm good now. I'll be good. 1, 2, 3, 2. In the deep rolling hills of old Virginia, there's a place I love so well, where I spend many days of driving.
your day. As the years roll by, how will we all be together someday? And each night as I wander through your darkest nights, be where I kneel to pray. White dove will mourn in sorrow, the rose will bring their day. I'll live my life in sorrow, sister and daddy are dead.
So that is White Dove, an absolutely beautiful song, and it is a wonderful song to get two other great friends together, or three, or four, or five, and get that really, really nice, tight Stanley Brothers and Clinch Mountain Boys harmony. And it's fun to do that stack where you have, it's not always the chance for a high singer to sing that high baritone, and it's a lot of fun to do. So yeah, if you have a female singer and then you have a lower male voice who likes to sing that lead, it provides this great opportunity to do a stack where you have the lead at the bottom, a higher tenor, or it doesn't have to be female, a male as well. It just happens to have a high voice and can hit that high voice. You can also do a more standard stack. You also can keep it very, very tight and do the proper air quotes, three-part harmony, and it's still a wonderful song. But yeah, there's something special about the Stanley Brothers and Ralph Stanley's harmony in it. And that's Bluegrass 101, and that is White Dove. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and hope you enjoyed playing and singing along with me. I am here every Wednesday, and you can tune in, and I'm not sure what we're doing for next one, but it is going to be another classic bluegrass song and great song to add to your repertoire. And yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in, and keep your picking and your hands clean and stay safe out there.